Hey everyone, so this is the first question based on the fifth lesson. Let's start by actually reading the question step first and see if we can solve the question by either taking values or by solving methodically. Okay, so let's get started. So in this question, it is given that x is an even positive integer. So let's write x is even and it is a positive integer. Okay, so that means x can take values such as 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on and so forth. And I need to find out the remainder when 9x cubed plus 27x squared minus x minus 3 by 3x squared plus 8x minus 3 when this expression is divided by 6. So how should we go about solving it? Well, there are a number of ways of doing it, and I'm going to discuss two methods obviously. One is using a methodical way of solving it, and the other is taking values. And let's start by taking values only because that's the main agenda of this lesson. So let's say I don't understand anything out here. Okay, I don't know how to simplify this expression. I have no clue what to do with this. Okay, but what I need to do is I'm going to again look at the answer options, and I can see that there are 5 options and they are all independent of x, so x is not involved here, and there's no option such as cannot be determined, which indicates that you'll get different values, different remainders for different values of x. So if the randomly cannot be determined, it would be dicey to take values to solve the question. But since nothing is given, this gives a clear indication, the option that x, the answer will come irrespective of whatever value I take of x. So keeping this in mind, what I'll do is my strategy would be to take values and solve the question. And to simplify my life, since it's given that x is an even positive integer, I'll take the smallest one, that is x equal to 2, and figure out what is the value of the expression first. Okay, so if I put 2 here, I'll get 9 times 2 cubed plus 27 times 2 squared minus 2 minus 3 by 3 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 minus 3. Okay, now 9 and 2 cubed is 8 and 9 into 8 is 72. Okay, and here you have a 4 here, so 27 times 4 is 108 and you have minus 5. Okay, now if I add this up, so I'm going to do the calculation in one go. Let's figure out the numerator first. So I have 180 minus 5, which is 175. So the numerator is sorted. As far as the denominator is concerned, I have 4 times 3, 12 plus 16 minus 3, which is equal to 25. Okay, so now after putting x equal to 2, I'm getting 175 by 25. And how much is 175 by 25? It's equal to 7. Okay, you can do the calculation and check up to you if you are still not comfortable directly dividing by 25, but if you are, you'll know what you'll get. So basically, now the question becomes if x equal to 2. Now the question is, what is the remainder when 7 is divided by 6? Okay, and obviously we know that when 7 is divided by 6, the remainder is 1. So the answer in this case will be option B. So you can see, even if I don't know anything, I logically came up with the conclusion that I can finally answer irrespective of the value of x, because the answer options are all unique and one of them has to be the answer, whatever the x. Okay, so that's one way of solving it. Let's look at the next way of solving the question. Now, another way to solve the question would be to obviously go the methodical way and try to simplify the expression and see if I can get the answer or not. Now, how do you do simplification? Well, you observe the expression and see what can be done. Now, notice that you have 3x squared plus 8x minus 3 in the denominator. Okay, and this looks, this is a quadratic equation, and this might be easy for you to break down because you've already learned quadratic equation. So just take the denominator first and try to work with it. Now, I can write this as a 9x minus x minus 3, right? And if I take 3x common, I'll get x plus 3 here. If I take minus 1 common, I'll get x plus 3, which basically gives me 3x minus 1 times x plus 3. So I know my denominator is 3x minus 1 times x plus 3. Now with this in hand, I'll try and see if I can get 3x minus 1 or x plus 3 on the numerator. And notice here you have minus x minus 3, and here also notice on the numerator you have the same thing. Which means if I take minus 1 common here, I'll get x plus 3. So I can work with this. And once I see that, I should be able to notice, okay, I can take 9x squared common from this, and on doing so, I'll be left with x plus 3. You see how I'm going in methodically looking at the expression, coming with one inference after the other. And this basically gives you x plus 3 times 9x squared minus 1. Now, I have already told you in one of the few lessons, whenever you see a square like this and minus 1 like this, always try and remember that you may need to use the formula a square minus b square. What I mean by that is, you can write 9x square like this, 3x whole square, and the minus 1 that you're getting here can be written as minus 1 square. Okay, and you have 3x minus 1 and x plus 3, which will cancel out. And here if you use the formula a square minus b square, which is a plus b times a minus b, you'll get 3x plus 1 times 3x minus 1 by 3x minus 1. And on cancellation, see you have a very simple expression left with you, which is 3x minus 1. So this big thing basically comes down to 3x minus 1. And I need to find out when 3x plus 1. And when I need to find out what happens when 3x plus 1 is divided by 6. Now what else do I know? I know that x is an even number. So x, if it's an even number, can be written as 2 times n, right? So let's substitute that here and see what we get. Just one second. So on doing so, I'll get, if I put, I'll get 6n plus 1 divided by 6. And you know when 6n plus 1 is divided by 6, the remainder is 1. And if you have any confusion, you can write it like this. This is something which we did a few days back. 6n is an integer, right? Because x is 2 times n and x is an even positive integer. So n has to be an integer. So when 6n is divided by 6, the remainder is 0. When 1 is divided by 6, the remainder is 1. So ultimately the remainder boils down to 1, and the correct answer is option B. So if you look at the methodical way, you will have to simplify the expression, and that might take some time. Okay, so if you see a very big expression and you're not sure how you should simplify it, and you're very confident the way I inferred that I can use variables to solve, I can use numbers to solve the question. If you're confident about that fact, then take a number and solve the question and you get your answer. Okay, so I hope this is perfectly clear how you can use numbers smartly to get to the final answer.